What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got some unfortunate news. As unified WBC, WBA, Ring Magazine, and supposed to be IBF, Junior Middleweight World Champion, Superstar Boxer, Jermell Lions Only Charlo, has informed us that the IBF has refused to give him his belt. His fight took place September 26th against Jeison Rosario, who was unified after Jeison Rosario upset and beat Julian J. Rock Williams, who upset and beat Swift Jarrett Hurd. Jeison Rosario became IBF, WBA, and Ring Magazine champion after he beat J. Rock Williams. He fought Jermell Charlo in unification bout. Jermell Charlo had the WBC. He had the WBA, the IBF in the ring. And Jermell Charlo knocked him out in the 7th round of the fight. Legitimately. But now, according to Jermell Charlo, this fight took place September 26th. Again, I'm going to remind y'all, this fight took place September 26th. We are in February. That means October, November, December, January, February, 5 months ago. He's received all his titles except the IBF. And his reasoning that the IBF gave him is that they're questioning his knockout victory over Jeison Rosario. They're investigating to see if it was legit, as if Jeison Rosario took a dive. I saw a lot of people claiming that Jeison Rosario, he essentially took a dive in the fight because they never witnessed a knockout in that fashion. Jermell Charlo hit him with a straight jab to the body, to the solar plex, and he started convulsing. He ran out of air. Jermell Charlo knocked the wind out of him. And so when he fell, he couldn't catch his breath because Jermell Charlo knocked the wind out of him. So obviously he couldn't get up. This happens in all sports. It happened to me twice when I played football. When you fall on top of the ball, you don't have to take the biggest hit. You just fall on top of the ball and then the air goes out of you. It happened to me another time where somebody pushed me. I fell backwards, a la like Jeison Rosario. I fell into somebody's leg. Their leg hit my back, just like Jeison Rosario. That jab hit him in the solar plexus and then his back hit the canvas. His legs went numb. His legs went essentially paralyzed for a second. That's what happened to me. And my breath, the air, the wind was knocked out of me. And I was gasping for air, just like Jeison Rosario was. So Jermell Charlo, that was a legit knockout. He should be considered the unified champion. I don't see them questioning any other contest in the sport of boxing. Did any of the sanctioned bodies question Canelo Alvarez win over Sergey Kovalev? When Sergey Kovalev, he did the noodle leg and he overreacted to a punch and then he said he couldn't recover. And then he came personally on my social media and said it was nonsense. The knockout that he suffered to Canelo Alvarez. Did the sanctioned bodies hold out on giving Canelo Alvarez his titles? When you have franchise champions or the sanctioned bodies considering holding out from considering and acknowledging and representing other unified champions such as Teofimo Lopez, Vasil Lomachenko situation. So now the sanctioned bodies are questioning, IBF is questioning Jermell Charlo's victory over Jeison Rosario as if not being legit. Like I said, I saw a lot of people claiming that they didn't think it was a legit knockout. Well, you have to be a high-level athlete to experience certain things. And like I said, in football, I experienced that twice. I dove on a fumble and I dove on the ball and I couldn't even move. My teammate had to get the ball. I couldn't move because I couldn't breathe. And another situation happened where the play was over. I was climbing out the pile. Somebody pushed me. I fell back into somebody's leg, and my back jerked like this, and all the air came out of me. And I was gasping for air, just like Jeison Rosario. So Jermell Charlo changed levels. Bang! To the solar plex. Bang! You could hear it. Bang! And you could hear how hard the punch was. And when Jeison Rosario fell, he couldn't catch his breath. That's why he looked like he was convulsing, going into convulsions. Because he couldn't, the wind was knocked out of him, so he started to panic. And he couldn't feel his legs. Like I said, it happened to me twice. You only have a 10 count. So if you're panicking, you can't catch your breath, you can't catch your wind, the wind is knocked out of you, rolling over. He tried to get up, he stumbled back to the rope because the wind was out of him. And he couldn't get back up. He couldn't beat the count. Jermell Charlo was awarded the victory. Jermell, that wasn't the first knockdown in the fight, though. He previously knocked him down in the fight. He was clearly winning the fight, even up until that point. It wasn't like it was a question in the 7th round who was even winning the fight. He was out boxing. Jeison Rosario had already previously dropped him, was ahead on the scorecards. So what is there to question at this point in time? The sanction bodies are hurting the sport of boxing. You have the WBA, who does the right thing in demoting Manny Pacquiao because he's inactive and he's not looking to legitimately defend the title against legitimate contenders in his weight class at welterweight. They strip him of the belt, and then you have the complaints from the other sanction bodies in World Boxing News, and they complaining that the WBA is making a mockery of the sport of boxing when they elevated one champion, eliminated a belt, so there is no confusion, yet they're saying that they promised not to create any more confusion within the sport of boxing because they wanted Manny Pacquiao to still be a face of one of the sanction bodies as a selling point. So they stated that the WBA promised to eliminate some of the confusion within the sport of boxing in each weight class, and that's exactly what they did by eliminating and demoting Manny Pacquiao, elevating Yordenis Ugas, who was the regular champion, and now you have one champion in the welterweight 147-pound division, so there's less confusion, but yet you get everybody on the WBA's back for doing so. Would they have been on everybody's back if they would have demoted Yordenis Ugas? No. You have the WBC creating franchise belts that's causing more and more confusion every day. They're changing the rules as they go. They initially stated that you cannot win or lose the franchise title when they awarded Saul Canelo Alvarez the franchise belt, so he didn't have to honor his mandatory. And Jermell Charlo, oddly enough, Jermell Charlo's twin brother. And then they awarded Vasyl Lomachenko, who has a total of 15, 16 fights in his totality in his career. They awarded him a franchise belt. Then they stated you can't win or lose it. Then he loses to Teofimo Lopez, and they elevate Teofimo Lopez, and now they're saying he's WBC champion. He's undisputed. But then you have another champion, an undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer, Devin Haney, and they're saying that, well, Devin Haney's the real champion, and also Teofimo Lopez is the real champion. That is confusion. That's confusion. So how is the IBF looking at Jermell Charlo and not sending this man his belt when he rightfully earned it? I don't understand what Jeison Rosario would get out of taking a dive in this fight with Jermell Charlo, because the other belt holder for undisputed is Teixeira, and that's not a mega fight. He has a fight coming up against Castano next weekend, but that's not a mega fight. Even if Castano beats Teixeira, that's not a mega fight for Jermell Charlo. So it's not like this was set up so he could go. Actually, the fight with Jermell Charlo and Jeison Rosario was a bigger fight than Jermell Charlo versus Castano or Teixeira for undisputed, because Jeison Banana Rosario, he beat Julian J. Rock Williams, who beat Swift Jarrett Hurd, who beat Erislan De Lara. So he beat the man who beat the man who beat the man who beat the man. But namesake-wise, selling-wise, draw power-wise, Teixeira or Castano don't represent a massive showdown for Jermell Charlo. It just represents an undisputed showdown in which he's going to be a huge odds-on favorite to win that fight. So what would he take a dive for? What would he stand to gain by taking a dive against Jermell Charlo to allow Jermell Charlo to be unified? It's not like he had a rematch already set in place. It's not like he had a big fight that he was promised. What did he win or lose in taking a dive? Because there's not like Canelo Alvarez is waiting at the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It's Erislandy Lara has lost, Hurd has lost, J-Rock has lost, and now Rosario has lost. So what pot of gold is that waiting for Jermell Charlo at the end of the rainbow that Jeison Rosario will take a dive to set up a fight for Jermell Charlo? This is just more confusion in the sport of boxing. So Jermell Charlo has stated that he's lost money because he's refused to do photos and magazine covers and pictures because he doesn't have all his belts. Because the IBF is refusing to send him his belt. So it's not complete. But I guarantee you the winner next week, if after that they go into negotiations and he's already promised the winner of that fight for undisputed, I guarantee the IBF will show up with the belt because they don't want to be the odd man out. They ain't going to want to be left out. They're going to want to be included. Miraculously, his belt to show up. I don't understand how the sanction bodies are causing more confusion within the sport of boxing. Only in the sport of boxing this happens. In no other sport does this happen. That they're holding trophies or holding championships and, oh, well, we got to investigate and see if the other team actually participated to their full capacity. We watched Jeison Rosario. He was getting dominated in the fight either which way it went. Even if he didn't get knocked out, he was getting dominated in the fight. At the point he got knocked out and stopped in the fight, he was losing big time on everybody's scorecard because he had already previously been dropped. And I believe he was dropped twice already. That was the third time when he was knocked out. So he was behind big on the cards. He essentially needed a knockout to be victorious. So him getting knocked out in the 7th round, what did he stand to gain? He was losing the fight either which way you cut it. So the IBF, you need to give Jermell Charlo his belt. It's about time you hand over his belt. This is what's wrong with the sport of boxing. We need clarification, not confusion within the sport of boxing. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.